That looks quite nice for my first image of the day. And when I got up this morning, I saw the first covering of frost and some ice that I've seen this year. It really is quite cold. With the wind chill factor today, the forecast is saying it's about -7, -6 for most of the day. And I'm certainly feeling it cold on the face and hands as I hang around this area taking my first shot. But I was really drawn to this area. You can perhaps see behind me all these trees. They're pretty much all the same type of tree, or at least most of them are. And there's just these wonderful patterns, these vertical patterns of trees. But it's not a place where you can just set down your camera, frame up a composition quickly and get a nice shot. I've had to really look around this for quite a long time and just look for something that appeals to my eye. And I really like the shot and the direction I've taken behind me here. You'll see it when I put up the image. But it's just the patterns of the trees, some of the detail on them. And as I say, they're mostly the same type of tree, but there is a few that is slightly different. This, I believe, is a silver birch here, which stands out. And I've been also very careful how I've positioned myself with keeping the light in mind, the direction of light. I really like the light coming across the scene from my right. It's early in the morning, a little while after sunrise, but it's that wonderful soft light that I really like. And I just like what it's doing in the forest floor. There's also touches of frost on the forest floor as well, which just gives a nice contrast to some of the warmer colours of the actual moss on the trees. But I quite like this sort of thing. It's challenging to get a nice image, and hopefully I've got one here. Fingers crossed, you never know, but I'm hoping I've got one, and it's quite rewarding when you get something that you're pleased with. So I've been stood here for rather a long time working on the composition behind me here, and it's really allowed me to appreciate two things. The first is just how cold it is today. I am frozen, my feet, my hands, it is bitterly, bitterly cold, and it's not nice weather to be standing stationary for too long. The second thing that's allowed me to appreciate is the importance of light when you're taking images. This tree behind me here has got a lot going for it with its shape, its overall look, and the moss on it as well. And when I spotted it from the distance, the light was catching all of these things or really emphasising them, and it was truly magical. However, when I come down and got my composition, the light just went. It was completely flat, and the tree didn't look nearly as good. The same applies to these couple of trees off in the distance. They're actually getting some fairly nice light now, but this one isn't getting as nice light, and that is because the sun is moving off behind some trees. So anyway, I had a long wait. That's what's got me so cold, but the light came back and it actually was improved. The light was actually better than when I initially spotted this tree from the distance, so the wait was worth it. It was a cold wait, but hopefully I've captured a nice image here. But the importance of light can't be overemphasised, I don't think, in photography. Anyway, I think because it's so cold, it's important now that I keep moving, so I'm going to have a walk around, maybe try and find a bit more shelter, somewhere that's not quite as open, and see if I can find any more compositions. So I've moved more into the middle of the woodland to try and get some shelter, and I'm trying to remember, have I mentioned how cold it is today? It is bitterly cold even in here. The trees are obviously breaking the wind a little bit, but the wind is still surprisingly strong and cold in this section of the woodland. But I'm really pleased I've come in. I found these two trees behind me, they're being really nicely side lit by the sun, which is moving across in the sky, and I've got my composition framed up and I've been waiting until this moment when the light is at its best. So I like the lighter tones of the tree in front, and then the tree at the back is slightly darker in its nature, and I like the little contrast between them. To watch my feet here, the forest floor is quite uneven, but I really like the contrast in the colours, and the lighting is also emphasising the really nice shape of these two trees. So it's time to go over and take this shot. This is my last one for today. You can hopefully see the sort of angle I'm taking it from here. So I'll get live view on the camera. And I'll just check my exposure. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So if I can find my shutter release cable, the forest floor is quite soft, so I'm using that just to ensure there's no camera movement. And I'm really pleased with that for my last shot. So I'd like to thank you again for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed being out, even though, did I mention it's quite cold? I think I did mention that. But I've still really enjoyed being out, and I've hopefully captured a few nice images. But I really like this. This is such a standout scene in my opinion in the middle of this forest. I really like the shape of the trees. And I'll put that image up to finish off the vlog. So as I said, thank you so much, and I'll hopefully see you in my next one.